Welcome, everyone, to the general gaming channel known as M12 Warthog.
Hey guys, Warthog Gaming here. I'm back with another video, and today I'm going to be playing Banished. Now, this is a game I've had for a while on Steam. It's like one of those games that I play in my free time while I'm waiting for videos to upload, or I can go play for like maybe 15 to 30 minutes while I wait for a video to process on my editing software and all that stuff. And well, I finally learned, after learning how to use new things such as audio mixers and all that kind of stuff, how to record on the game on a PC. Now, this is a low-end laptop, so it's probably gonna be just as good as my console videos, or maybe a little bit less for quality. I'm still trying to learn a few things, but I still like to make videos, so I'm still gonna post them and all that stuff. But for now, I want to tell you something before I start this game. There are mods in the workshop, and I've been looking through it. But what I'm gonna be playing is like an unmodded, like a lightly modded, like it's not heavy modded. Like most of the things will like fix bugs or adjust stuff that normally happens. Like this, if this problem happens, you can have this. But it's not gonna be like preventing me from like having invincible populations that don't like die out or anything like that and stuff like that. But I will say that when I look through the mods, most of them are just translations to languages that I guess this game normally doesn't support. So if you like are playing and it doesn't support the language that you speak, you could probably find a mod that translates everything for you. I don't know if they actually work because I don't bother like doing it, because English is the only language I speak, so why have it say a bunch of weird things and not know what they mean, because I may not even be able to read the thing where it says unactivate this mod kind of thing. But enough talking. I'm going to type in a seed and a town. Now, of course, I'm gonna go with this. Someone told me it's a good seed to start out with. How true that actually is, we'll find out, because maybe it's good for him in the way he plays, but maybe not so much for me. But we'll get to it. Now, for my town name, I'm thinking, and I thought about this for a few minutes. I'll go with Hogtown. Whoops. There. Caught myself misspelling Hogtown. Or at least, okay. Now, this is general view of what it looks like, but I'm going to be talking about a lot of things because I know a lot about the game from playing it, but I've never been able to explain it from my perspective on an actual video. So let's just wait for this to load, but it is pretty good. There are some herds of sheep, and I can see farm fields, orchards, and all this stuff. Now, if there are certain things that you're curious about that I haven't answered in this video or haven't talked about, I'll probably talk about it in another video, but I could answer it much earlier, like before the next video, if you like leave me questions in the comment section for this. Now, for this, I'm going to hit spacebar, which stops and pauses the time. You can change it here at the bottom. For me, I don't know why I didn't actually go into settings and set this, but apparently spacebar just automatically pauses and unpause. Now for me, I'm going to open up a few menus. This menu lets you know what's in your inventory, the health of your population, that's the average health, happiness. Now health is greatly affected by diseases and wide range of foods. Now, in the beginning, your health, average health of your population is going to go down. They're just settling in. And in most situations, you'll have maybe 1 orchard seed and 2 farm seeds to start out with. And if they have 3 different types of food and then rely on whatever the hunters and gatherers get, plus whatever the fishermen get, you have a low range of food, so people are only going to get certain types of nutrients. That lowers the health of your population. You can replace some of that. You can replace part of the health loss from lack of different foods to with herbalist and all that stuff. We'll get into that later. Happiness is like how happy the citizens are. If someone dies, you have to have a place to bury them. Having a church does that, which which can be put in at certain places in your town, wherever you want them. I'm going to have this up here, and I'm going to have this. This is a mini-map. It shows, like, the general area in which you are. The yellow thing is your field of view on this. Now, I just went with the basic game, and the basic game just right out of the gate went for this. Starts you out with a few houses. You have 6 families, barn, and some supplies all in a storage thing. I've seen in harder conditions that you start out with, you just have a cart full of supplies, and that's all you have to start out with. Now, one of the best things to have is the professions table. This over here lets you do all this, and most of these on this side you don't really worry about in the beginning, but laborers, builders, farmers, hunters, gatherers, and fishermen are probably the ones you focus on first. Then maybe after that, a tailor, blacksmith, and then after that, maybe a teacher or a physician. But actually, you want to have well-educated populations, as educated workers do more. At first, I thought maybe educated people, they can't do a specific career type because they're not knowledgeable in that area. But anyone can be any profession. It's just that educated people are more productive, if you know what I'm saying. Now, we have some wood. Now, to start out with, for me, I'm just gonna plop down a schoolhouse. I'm not really a big fan of school, or mainly because of the experience that I have at school and all that I used to have at school. I'm no longer in school, but I'm gonna set that down. But, of course, to build this, anyone can gather supplies, and sometimes it's, depending upon the building, from my experience, it's the builders that can't move, that can remove things. But as you can see, there is 0 remove. There's a tree there, but that could be trees, rocks, and other things that are blocking the way. Anyone can gather resources for this building to take place, but only builders can build and make the structure itself. So for starters, I'm going to put 2 people there. Now, another thing I'm going to do is I want to build a fisherman hut, which I'm going to slowly start this, or a source of food. Now, early on, you can do this. And there's also, which is what I'm going to do. Now, you can probably use E or R to rotate, and here seems like a good spot. I'm not going to lie, my friend was right about this for having this seed as a good seed to start out with. Now, it says firewood is low, but we're in spring. Winter's not coming for a while. But what you do have, I'm going to up this again so that we can get some of this going. Maybe then have 1 or 2 fishermen. But what I am going to do is over here is the resource bar. You can tell them to remove all resources in a general area. Go for wood, stone. For me, if you have a spot like this around here, you want a little bit of everything to start out with, and then you can customize it to what your town needs. So right here, this area here, people are going to go about and chop this down. Now, you can go in the small area, but I want to focus on a good forest area to have my hunters and gatherers. Now, there's a lot of stone and iron, so that's going to have to cleared out, which forester lodges can do, but I also don't want it too far away from here, because there's a limit to how far away people can live away from their work. So, what I'm going to do, because really what we need is you only have 700 of that, I'm going to set up a hunting cabin that will be in the woods right about here. And then I can use the red marker to figure out where the hunting cabin is. And right across from it, probably put 1 or 2 people working at this to begin with. Again, this is not too far away. And it tells me that the reserve firewood is low. This is generally about, and when it says it's too low, it's like about, this is about what the population is about to have, or like generally will use. Or like this is generally what your town can use at once. And if it's below it, it's like, well, you're low on this, better get to it. Now, I'm actually, when this is done, gonna do this. Now, the reason I'm building this is because you need educated people in order to work. Well, you start out with 6 families. You have 12. You have 12 adults. And the middle one is 0 because, well, we don't have any students. We have no schoolhouses. Then 13 is number of children. Children and students are pretty much the same thing, except students are in school and they're in the process of being educated to become an educated laborer. Children are not old enough to be in school, or maybe there's not enough room yet, and sometimes if it's left unnoticed, they'll just put them into the workforce when they're old enough without even actually having them educated, which can be a thing. Now, I don't have a whole lot of people, so I'm only going to put one guy here. Now, this is my current place that I'm getting food from at the moment. You're probably going to have to rely on that. Now, I'm going to do this. So, apparently I have a gatherer's hut, and I have this. Now, I'm going to lower this. That way we have 2 on 2. That way we can build things faster, or about evenly. And we still have 6 laborers to start out with. Generally, it will get down to the bone where you'll need to make more tools and more clothes, but you don't have a whole lot of laborers, and that's going to become a problem to where you'll only have 2 or 3, but that's fine because eventually you'll get more. Nomads want to join in, and not all nomads are educated. Take that into consideration before you leave them. Maybe if you don't have enough positions to fill your jobs, because when someone dies, say like you have a Forester named John and he dies on the job, tree falls on him. I've had that happen before. A laborer will take his spot. Unless you say, I want one less laborer, because we need some laborers, but we don't want a laborer to that. You can just hit this down button and say, I don't want that laborer to take its spot. It will just take away a forester. Maybe not the one that was directly removed from the labor force to a forester, but you get the picture, I think. Now, another thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this quickly. One of the most important things I forget is that you need a woodcutter to begin with. That is one of the most important jobs ever. I'm going to add more people to build that. Now here you can set the limit to certain things. For example, fishing dock provides fish as food. When it gets to 5,000, it will stop. And I'll tell you, okay, because 5,000 for our current population is more food than our population would need in 1 year, because there's a total of 12 adults and 13 children, so that is 25 people, and having 5,000 food is a lot. But if we reach that means that we have extra that we can trade later, and I'll get to that in a little while, because, well, we just don't. Making a trading area is not just a thing you would want to do right off the bat. Okay, so we have 3 there, 3 there. No, we have 2 there. We have 3 here. I want to make it 2 across the board. So we have 3 buildings in progress, and we have they're removing some trees. Now I'm gonna go over here, and I'm going to speed this up a bit. For me, times 10 is a bit fast. I normally don't do that. I keep it at times 5. Now, from the looks of it, everything might go well at the beginning. Sometimes it's a little bit of a rough start, depending upon what you're doing and all that stuff. But, we're getting a little bit of stone and iron to start us out with. Maybe make a few more buildings. Now, the main thing I want to do is that, as you can see here if you're looking closely, I have chickens to start out with. Most times you don't start out with cattle. Sometimes you don't. Most times you won't start out with them in animals. Sometimes you do. I've actually played on this seed once, as it randomly generated, and then my friend said that I should do it for this video because it's a good place to start out with. That this is chickens, and they will die out if they don't reproduce and all that stuff, and then you're going to have to trade for more. I've had that problem. Well, in order to do that, you're going to need to make a place for them to stay, which is a herd pasture. Now, it may not be super big, and it may not carry a lot, but if it's decently sized, maybe a 10 by 10, but I want to make it, I'd say, maybe a 14 by 12. Sounds like a decent one. Now, as you can see, over here, we got 20 firewood. And now it's telling me the reserve of food is low. Which means I need to go and put 2 more fishermen here. Remove 1 builder. And hope that they can get more. Now, of course, you're going to get constant notifications. This is low, this is low. But, I've gotten through the beginning. Like, the beginning part is a little bit hard. It makes people worry, like new people. Oh my god, this is low, what do I do? I've had people freak out. when they ask me what do I do and all that stuff, because I played this for a while. I actually found this game, ironically. I'm making a YouTube video about it through YouTube. I'll actually put a link in the description to the video that I found that showed me this awesome game. Not to mention, not just the game, but the YouTuber who made it is actually quite a good one, if you ask me. The reserve of food is low. Yeah, we know. Once we get more buildings done, which we have done that there, we can go somewhere about here. We can allow for 3 there, and allow for 3 here. That way we're making full use of 3 and 3 for each one. Now, we could have more. Now, we could have more builders if we want to make it go faster, but I don't think that's necessary at the moment. I'm going to increase this to about 1,500 for now. I'm actually going to bring the builders down by 1. We can have 2 work on each one. Now I have chickens. Now I'm going to put all these chickens here will go into this pasture. Now, empty means you completely empty it out because you want to use this for something else and you want to move the chickens much closer to somewhere else. This is generally you'll want to do this when one thing happens. When you say, like, you want to set up a tailor that makes clothes, and they're making use of leather and wool, and you have a pasture here and you have a pasture right next to it, like, right over here. One makes leather, one makes wool, and you got some coats, because you can make ones out of leather, wool, or leather and wool, which is, I think, is the best. But, you want to make it close to it. That way it increases productivity, because the pasture guys, herdsmen who work the pastures, don't have that far to go to get to produced goods. Now, pretty much storage barn has all your produced goods in it. Stockpile has natural goods. Goods that you can find out in nature, such as rocks, such as stone from rocks, iron, wood. The only produced good that actually gets stored in here is firewood, because it's produced by a human, is what I mean by that. A woodcutter actually goes and chops it up and changes it. If someone picks up resources and moves it as it is and doesn't modify it and just leaves it in a stockpile, then that's just a natural good, or call it natural good, and that's what I'm referring it to for the sake of simplicity and all that. Now, I mean, I have 6 families. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make another house here, but remove this one, and we'll get to that later. But, now I gotta do something else. And that is, well, my labor force just cleared out this area. So what I want them to do is I'm going to remove all resources from pretty much this area and these trees here. I'm going to build a farm field here. Now, like I said before, food production, you have a chance to start out with orchard seeds and crop field seeds, but you don't know if you have what crop field seeds you have until you check it in either a town hall, which we do not have yet, or until an orchard. Now, what I want to do with the orchard... Now, I'm not going to make an orchard. You don't want to do anything with that early on. Because orchards... Think about it from an economy standpoint. But the people need food to survive. But it won't be effective, effective way of getting food, because you have to... Because orchards are not like elastic demand. Crop fields are easy because you just need to clear out an area and have it flat, and you can instantly start growing stuff as long as when the growing season starts, which is in spring. Right now we are in late autumn. They harvest the crops. The crops are pretty much they grow in spring and summer, and they harvest in autumn. The most efficient way that I found is having farm fields by 14 by 14. But right here is where I'm going to put it down. You can instantly start working, and in autumn you get a lot of food. Now, the one thing, though, that I like to mention is that orchards are like inelastic. They're not elastic when it comes to demand of food. Like I got carried away and started talking about farm fields, but like they take time. The trees need to grow. You can't really make them bigger. The good side is if you build it in a wrong place, you can easily remove it. You can cut down the trees for wood, which is good. Plus, you can move it somewhere else if you need to. Now, like I said, you don't have a wide variety of food, so average health of citizens is going down. Once I get a hunter's cabin here, and maybe get a few more workers, we can put someone into this, and then they'll start working and making food, and they'll generally get venison, maybe a few other meats from other animals that they find. Now here is a gatherer set. They're going to find all different things, such as berries, to plants, I guess, different types of plants, or what. They pretty much search the forest for edible things. And the hunters pretty much find animals and they get them. Now, I'm not sure what I want, but I want to have that at a limit of 4. I only need 3 workers now, so I'm just going to do that. You really have to keep changing who's builders, who's laborers. It doesn't stay the same in the beginning. And for me, I'm just going to add 1 hunter at the moment. Now that I have this, I'm probably going to go for either a gatherer next, then hopefully by that time we'll have another worker, and then we can put them into a farm field, which they'll grow in a 14 by 14 area. Now I'm gonna go over here and see what's going on. Now, people need to stay warm in order to work in winter times and other weather conditions. But if it's cold out, the coats keep them warm, prevent them from being affected by cold for a certain amount of time, and then they need to go back inside and get warm, which is why they need houses, and they need to be fueled by firewood, for example. Now, if you want to upgrade a house to stone, you can. It costs less than to actually, like, build it, I think, in my opinion, or that's what at least seems going off of the resources that are used down here. It, like, recycles some of the crap that, was in the old house. So, now, if I were to build a house, which I want to finish, do one thing at a time, because I'll be honest, I don't have a whole lot of builders that can do stuff at the moment, but they removed everything. Now they just need to build on it. Now, another thing you can do is I could center this if I want to. I could actually check previous season. Apparently it had 3,624 fish. I think that's a glitch because, well, we're only at 1,000. I guess unless they ate like 2,000 of it or so in like immediately, but then again, we only have 15 children and 2 people who are students at the moment, which you can actually keep track of what is what here. Okay, now that I have this, I'm going to pretty much wait until they're done building the hunter's cabin. Now that they're done doing that, and I found that out and I didn't have to check, is because over here, this is the total number of available jobs in this position. Now, lots of times, I'm going to have builders available, like 3 builders like I have now, but 0 in the position. The reason for that is that way I can have them ready, so like, okay, I want you to build something else now they can go do it. Stone houses use less resources to keep warm because of, well, of how the house is. So I'm just going to put one there, and I want them to build it. And some other stuff will happen too as well, but I am going to have to see what else I want to do. Occasionally checking this is good because it gives you a general idea of what you have, although it doesn't give you a general idea of what you have as a total for each individual item for trading, which will happen later on. Is because, well, this only tells me what's in this storage barn and not in others, and you can build more, of course, if you want to. Now, some of the easier things to make, like stockpiles, for example, if I go over here, pretty much you just need to clear out an area, nothing else. Like, literally, if I buy an 8, I'll just set that down, and that's going to be, like, the new area for, our stockpile. Now, you noticed that, I could, make stuff. Well, like when I was making buildings, I could make more workers work on a specific task. sometimes depending upon buildings and structures that you're trying to make or other things, that there's a limit. Like there's a limit to 2 people. I can't make the third builder do something. Although, while I'm here, I guess I could do something that most people don't do early on, but I think I should. Which I think the only good place for this at the moment, no, I don't want to put it there, is here. That's going to build well, and that's pretty much going to allow you to put out fires, or at least reduce damage done to buildings. But a damaged building is damaged building and can't really be used. So. But at least it might make some stuff salvageable, I would assume. I don't know, I've never really had a fire, or if I did, I was looking at the other half of my town. Well, that went on, and they must have put it out and got it under control. Now that I have this here, I'm going to get rid of this. This has to go bye-bye. And I'm going to tell you why in a second. Now, it didn't say that there was a marker telling me that there was homeless because I made a new house to take its place first. Those people in this one house pretty much moved to the first stone house. Although I'm not going to be making a lot of stone houses, I'm only going to probably have a few, but most of them are going to be wooden ones. Because, well, stone, you don't have a whole lot of it to start out with. But they do reduce the amount of firewood you need, so which reduces the workload for this guy here. Now, the main thing is that down here I'm low on clothes and tools, but you don't necessarily need to worry about that because clothes last a while, and so do tools. The tools last even longer. I think the better quality the tool or clothing, the longer it lasts, or at least that's what I think. But if I were to click on someone, let's make this a little bit easier. Click on them. It says clothing, fair, educated. No. Of course, they're a child, that's why. And they're idling, just playing around, doing whatever they feel like. I mean, they're a kid, they're running free, living a happy life until they're in school. Until they're old enough. But yeah, that's how it goes. So yeah. Now, the reason I did that is because one of the best things you can have to start out with is under town services. And that is the town hall. And you want to fit it in. So I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to show you what it does. And all this thing does. Because it's the best building in the game. You can only have one of it. But I'm going to have to show you what it does next time. In my next video. Because I'm going to... Next time in the next video. So I'll see you guys later. And don't forget, leaving any comments, questions, or feedback for me in the comment section down below would be highly appreciated. Oh, and don't forget to leave questions about this game or stuff I haven't gotten to. I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. And I will see you guys later in another video. Bye-bye.